Hello and welcome to another video with me, Rauchenwald. Now in today's video we are going to take a look at the latest changes within TimeStope, a cryptocurrency in the making that you can earn by simply confirming your attendance, or in other words pressing your button once per day. Now if you want to know more about what TimeStope is and about some of the recent updates until now, I recommend that you click on the card up here and just follow along in my TimeStope playlist, so you kind of like get it from the beginning until this point. However, if you already know what TimeStope is, how it works, and you already also know what stoping is and how it works, then I recommend that you just stick with this video, because in this video we're going to cover the latest update that introduced something called land or time land, a new feature within TimeStope that has many people confused. And in order to get started and dive into what is time land and how does it work, I'm going to put my screen up here so you can see what I'm seeing on my phone. And if you downloaded the latest update, you will notice this new button here called land. And when you click on it, it will open kind of like a Google map of the entire planet. For me, it starts out focused roughly around Gibraltar. For you, it might be somewhere else, but that's not important. Now you can scroll around here. However, you cannot directly zoom by pinching or something. To zoom in, you actually will have to press the button that is at the bottom center of the screen. And once you do that, you will notice that there is a grid overlaid over the entire map. Now, when you're zoomed in, you can still scroll around and you can basically eventually click on a certain location, like for example here, Gibraltar. And you might also encounter squares like this one here in Marbella that show you some numbers, like for example 4095 out of 4096. So each square has basically 4096 shares available that you can buy using lTime, which is land time. And to buy one share, you would first select the square that you want to buy and then press the credit card icon in the bottom right corner. But there's no reason to be afraid. You don't have to use your credit card or fiat like US dollar, euro or something. You can buy those shares using lTime, so one of the units that's available within the TimeStope app. And as you see here, the price per share of land is 2000 lTime. Now if you would want to buy an entire square, you would need to buy 4096 shares, assuming that they're still available. And as you can see, that would actually cost you roughly 8.2 million lTime, which definitely takes a lot of time to accumulate in the first place. However, you notice that currently, even if I would select one share, that I cannot purchase. The button is grayed out, and that is because I don't have any lTime right now. So to get lTime, we're going to have to cancel this and go back to the main app. And we'll have to go to the wallet section and here to the exchange to convert some of my sTime into lTime. Now a quick recap here, if we go back to the main screen, you see the number on top here. This is the so-called F time, or the flying time. And I know it's a shockingly huge amount, but that is the amount of time that I gathered based on referrals and my own activity that has not been verified. So most of this, like 90% or even more, is actually not usable because the users that I gained it from haven't passed or completed the KYC process yet, and likely most won't, because unfortunately with many of the apps like TimeStope, Pi Network, B Network and so on, while many people are super enthusiastic in the beginning, a lot of them actually give up on the app or forget about it and stop mining after just a couple of weeks. So while you might feel shocked seeing the 9 million time that we have here in the app with an expected value of $120,000, the reality is quite different, because as said, 90% or more of that time will never turn into verified time. This brings us to a quick recap of stoping. How do you actually turn the flying time into verified time? For that, you would click on stoping within the wallet, and that's something that you can do once per week. And it would then convert the flying time of verified users and of yourself, if you already completed the KYC process, into so-called sTime or stope time, which is the time that you can use. Now once you have that sTime handy, you can go to the exchange, and here you can select on the left sTime, so which already is pre-selected, we notice the S here, and what you want to convert it to. In this case, we want to convert it to lTime for land, and then I can enter the amount that I want to convert. Now you see that I already have 1322 lTime for lTime. And if I convert my entire 2001 sTime, we can see that it adds up at the bottom with my existing lTime balance, and that there is a fee of 1 time that will be deducted for that exchange. And when we click on the exchange button, we will see a pop-up that is slightly misleading because it tells us that we cannot undo the exchange or conversion, which is technically true, because when you convert the sTime into lTime, you receive your new lTime tokens and the one-time transfer fee disappears. So you cannot reverse that transaction directly. However, after that exchange, so I'm going to click on exchange here, we received the new lTime, so we converted the sTime into lTime, and we see exchange successful. And I can go back to the exchange, and there now theoretically I could say I want to convert my lTime into sTime. So while I cannot undo a transaction that I've made in the past, I can simply make another transaction and exchange my lTime into sTime again if I want to. So I hope that makes sense, which means the warning in the pop-up is slightly misleading because it just means that you cannot undo an existing transaction, but obviously you can then do further conversions whichever way you want. Now that we have enough lTime to buy a share, we can go back to the land feature. And once the map has loaded, we can now pick, for example, here Gibraltar, click on it, so highlight the square and click on the card icon and enter the number of shares. Now we only have enough balance to buy 1 share. We can see our balance at the bottom, 3,300. So we enter number 1, we click on purchase and we confirm that purchase. And with that, we own 1 share out of 4,069 of this specific square. So now you know how you can buy your land within the TimeLand app that's integrated now in TimeStope. The big question is, why should you do it and what's the purpose of doing so? If you're familiar with other cryptocurrency projects, you will notice, or you will know, that many of them offer you something called staking. So you basically lock in your coins for a certain period of time, and in return you receive some interest. So you earn an interest based on the amount that you've staked, which basically helps you to earn even more coins if you're anyway not planning to sell that cryptocurrency or exchange it in some way. And TimeLand is basically the staking within TimeStope. So as a result, if you invest 2,000 lTime to buy 1 share of one of the squares available on the map, you start to receive lTime interest every day. Now in a year you would receive theoretically 365 lTime in interest. However, TimeStope will keep a 10% processing or maintenance fee of that, which means effectively you will receive roughly 330 lTime in a year if you own 1 share of 1 square on the entire map. And that actually would equal roughly 16% interest that you get within the first year on your staked lTime. Now if we consider that currently TimeStope can be used among its users, so if somebody else is willing to accept TimeStope as a payment for something and has a TimeStope account, you can already transfer coins to them, but it's not yet listed on any exchanges, which means technically it doesn't have a value right now. So staking it right now is actually, in my opinion, the smart thing to do, because you anyway cannot use it on any exchange to exchange to dollars, euro, Bitcoin, or anything else. Therefore, if you stake it right now, if you already accumulated at least 2,000 lTime, you start to receive interest, and obviously as a result you would end up with a bigger overall balance in the end. So once TimeStope actually gets listed on some kind of exchange, you would have more coins to actually exchange. Now besides that, the big question is, how do you unstake? And the answer to that is currently you can't. TimeStope plans to add that feature by the end of this year, so then you will be able to basically release your shares, so you can give up the ownership of a certain share, and in return you will receive your 2,000 time back plus whatever interest you earned. However, there will be a 30-day cooldown period. So if I would then say I want to give up my share of Gibraltar, I would basically say unstake or give up share, or however it's going to be called in the app, and then I would have to wait 30 days during which I won't receive any interest anymore before I receive my share back, so my 2,000 time back. Now you may be wondering why there is such a cooldown period, but it's actually quite common even with other cryptocurrencies. For example, if you were to stake CRO coins on the crypto.com mainnet, so to support the nodes there, you would face a 28-day cooldown period during which you won't receive any rewards anymore, but you can't use your coins yet. And that cooldown period serves a specific purpose. So if you think about it, staking is giving you a reward for locking in your current coins. And as a result, you locking in your coins and other people doing the same, it reduces the supply on the market. So if or when TimeStope is listed on an exchange, there will be less coins that will be available to buy, which helps drive up the price or maintain a certain price level. And the cooldown period with the staking or the release of the shares in Time Land serves the purpose that, let's assume there's a spike from, I don't know, 1.3 cents per time to $1 per time, and everybody would be tempted to quickly sell their time to make a big profit. However, because you decided that you want to get 16% interest or however much it is at the time you start the staking, you are not able to do that because you would have to wait 30 days before you effectively can use your time again. So this is a measure to simply prevent people from gaming the system, and that should create stability for the TimeStope or time price in the future, because you have to choose between either having your time available and being able to spend and transfer it at any time, in which case you wouldn't receive any kind of rewards or interest. However, if the price would spike on the markets and you want to take advantage of that spike, you could instantly sell your coins. Or on the other hand, you lock in your coins by staking them within the Land app that's part of TimeStope and that I showed in the beginning of the video. And in return, you start to receive interest for that. So you can pick one of those two benefits, but you cannot have both. If you do the staking, the only downside is the 30-day cooldown period. But on the other hand, again, you receive 1 time per day in interest. Another important aspect about the whole land feature within TimeStope is that the price for each land will also increase. So by the time you're watching this video, 1 square or 1 share of a square will likely not be 2000 time anymore, but it might already be 2001 or 2002, because the price for each share will increase by 1 lTime per day, starting with May 16th, which would be tomorrow. This basically creates another incentive, because if you stake early, you obviously can buy more shares and receive more staking rewards than if you wait for a long time with your staking. So TimeStope, in my opinion, has a very, very interesting approach here to the topic of staking. Instead of just having an input field where you can say, I want to stake that amount and receive interest, they actually turned this in part of a game where you can look for areas that you want to own, in quotes, and then see how many shares are available and then buy those shares. You obviously don't buy the real physical area of Gibraltar or Marbella or anywhere else, but it's still a nice gamification of the whole staking principle. And that pretty much sums up what we know about Timeland right now. So if we do a quick recap, you first need to convert your sTime or other time units into lTime to use for staking. You need at least 2000 lTime, but likely by the time you watch this video, the price per share might already be higher. So you should check in the Land app first to see how much you need to buy 1 share. When you buy it, you basically lock that amount in for at least 30 days. So when you would unstake, it would still take 30 days for you to receive those funds back. However, for the time you are staking, you receive 1 time per day in interest. The unstaking feature, so the feature for me, for example, to give up the Gibraltar share that I just bought making this video, is not yet implemented in the TimeStope application, but should follow during 2021 as well. So for now, if you lock in your funds, you should really be sure about it, because you will likely not be able to unstake for a couple of months. And even then, as mentioned, you face a 30-day cooldown period. Besides that, for the 1 time that you receive in interest for each day that you hold a share of some square, there is actually also a 10% maintenance or network fee that is applied, so you actually effectively receive 0.9 time per day. But that pretty much sums it up. For people that are staking early, so for roughly 2000 lTime per share, they are looking at somewhere between 16 and 14% interest during their first year. Eventually, if enough units on the globe are actually staked or owned, the price per share might skyrocket at some time, but for that, TimeStope needs to achieve a bigger user base. And before I finish this video, there are 2 other quite important things that I want to point out that are not related to the land feature, but are still news that are worth mentioning. First of all, I recommend that within the TimeStope app, that from time to time you go to the messaging tab here and go on the regular community channel. Here only the TimeStope team posts, and you will find updates like details about Timeland, or one other important aspect that I want to mention, and that's the self-report feature that's currently available, because TimeStope is going to delete all duplicates accounts. So if you for some reason created multiple accounts, you risk that all of them get deleted and blocked permanently, even if you already completed the KYC process in one. And from that purpose, you have roughly 6 weeks or until the end of June to fill out a self-report form. So by going to the messages and then clicking on the link in that message, which will take you to a Google form where you can enter your details, so email, name, TimeStope ID, and the list of your duplicate IDs, because only if you do that will TimeStope let you keep your main account and only delete your duplicates. And this applies to you if you for some reason created multiple accounts. Maybe you tried to game the system, maybe you, I don't know, forgot your username or something like that. So make sure that you submit that form if you at some point created a second account, and to point out your main account and point out the usernames of the alternative accounts as well, so that your actual account doesn't get deleted when TimeStope implements their anti-duplicate account features. And that's it for today. Now, personally, with the latest changes and especially the land feature, I decided that I will stake all my coins. So every week when I do the stoping to receive more verified sTime, I will instantly convert it into lTime and buy more shares of land to receive interest on the time that I already have. Because as mentioned, other than using time between other users that might accept it as payment, there is currently no other way to spend or use your time. Therefore, staking it and receiving interest to accumulate even more seems like the smart thing to do for me. Anyway, I hope you were able to take away something from this video. If you have any question whatsoever, you can either leave a comment down below or check the links in the description or the first pinned comment down below to jump on our Discord community and discuss TimeStope and other projects with me there on our Discord server. Thanks for watching. See you in one of my other videos. Till then, bye bye.